Good morning, I'm Dee Plusinski. It is Wednesday, the 16th of February, 2022, and we are out here at a house I have under contract. We're due to close in a week. The problem is the appraiser needs to actually see the water running in the home before they can certify the appraisal and turn it into the lender. This home is winterized, so all the pipes are dry and empty to keep them from freezing and bursting while the owners are at their primary residence out east. So that's a problem. All the plumbers are booked up for about a month to 6 weeks, and there's nobody that can come out to turn the water in so the appraiser can take a look, certify the appraisal, get it turned in, and we can close on time. Here's another reason you need a knowledgeable mountain realtor who has the skills, the confidence, and the time to take something like this on. It's not an easy task. It's going to take me about an hour, but I'm going to take you with me so you can see what happens when you have to open and then close up a cabin. I won't make you watch the whole hour. I'll keep it short, but come along. We'll see how to open and close a cabin so that the appraiser can do what they do and we can get this closed on time. Stand by. Okay, here we are inside. The house is cold and dark, and we have to make it warm and bright and have the water working. You can see here that everything is shut off. Nothing, no water. There's no water in the pipes. There's no water in the drains. There's no water in the washing machines, and the heat is turned off over here. So the first thing we're going to have to do is get the heat going, because you can't turn water into an empty, cold house with no heat because it's going to freeze up as well. So we turn on the gas right there, and we're going to let that flow in for just a second. And then we are going to come in here and light the pilot, and then light the heater and get going from there. So to get started, the first thing we've got to do is come back here to this pilot, see here, and turn it from off to pilot. And we're going to have to hold that down. Hold it down for a couple minutes until the gas flows in through there. So I'll be here for a few minutes. I will come back when it's ready. It took about 3 minutes of holding that button down, and now the pilot is lit, but we've got to keep holding this button down until that thermocouple in there is hot, because it won't light the furnace unless that little piece of metal in there is glowing hot. So we're going to sit here and hold it another minute, and then we're going to turn on the main gas. And there we go. So the heat is on, the furnace is on, and that's going to heat up this house pretty quick here. This process took about, 5-10 minutes. A lot of it's just sitting holding the button down until the gas gets to where it needs to be. So heat's on, and we can start on water. Okay, so our next step is to connect all of the sinks and toilets. So you can see here that all of these are disconnected. So I'm going to connect both the kitchen sink, both bathroom sinks, both toilets, and then go from there. So we've got to have the sinks connected, obviously, before we turn the water in. In a perfect world, I want to have the heat on overnight before I turn the water in, but when you only have a couple hours notice, you're going to do the best you can, and we're going to run with it. So I'm going to get these connected, and we're on our way. All right, next up is the water heater. You can see it's off, and the release valve is open. So we're going to need to open that, close that, and then close the valve there at the bottom so all the water doesn't go out. Next up, we have to they were open. We have to close all of the outdoor spigots so that when the water turns on, it doesn't all run out. We'll go around and do that. Okay, so this property is on a well, not a water system. So we're going to have to open the well cover here. There we go. And that's what a well looks like, folks. So, yep, we got to crawl down in there and going to be fun. So stand by. Okay, so we are down in the well, and we have to turn the power on. So that's this right here. And this electrical box is going to be what fires this up. So here we go. Now, what we're watching here, here's our pressure gauge. So we can hear the water running in. And our pressure gauge is at 40. So this is going to start pumping water up out of the well, and it's going to start coming out in the house. So we're kind of waiting here. You see that pressure gauge rising there? And what's happening is there's a balloon in here, and the balloon fires up and fills with air, which pushes the water into the lines. So it's a pressure tank, and the balloon inside, the bladder, is full of air, and it fills the bladder full of air, which pushes the water through the lines. So that's what keeps your house pressure stable. And then when you turn on a faucet or something and that pressure drops, more air is pushed into the balloon here, and more water is pushed through your lines. So let's go inside. All right, now all houses are going to have a main interior water valve that is kind of a stop gap, a safety point between the well and your faucets. So that's this one here. When a valve is this way, it's off. When a valve is this way, it's on. So we are going to go ahead and turn this on. You can hear the water there. Now we've got to go check every faucet and toilet to make sure that we connected everything well and there's no leaks. We've got some water coming in here. Now our pressure tank's going to take a minute to catch up, but we've got water flowing in, which is good. Let's see, here's this. Those look okay, there's no leaks there. We're good over there. We got water coming here. All right, it looks good. We're just gonna kind of leave this all running for a minute until all of the pressure picks up, and then I'll turn them all down to just little trickles. While we're waiting on the appraiser to show up and check to see that the water's on, I'm also gonna go out and show you the propane tank. South Fork and some parts of Del Norte do not have natural gas, so we have propane tanks. And if your realtor doesn't know, you need to know that propane at the time of the sale belongs to the seller. So your realtor needs to go out and check your propane level, and then there will be a credit to the seller on the settlement sheet and a debit to the buyer, because 500 gallons of propane, this is a 500-gallon tank, there you go, this is a 500-gallon tank, that's worth $1,000. So if your realtor doesn't get a propane reading and get it to the title company, you as the seller could lose $1,000. So what we've got here is, it's windy. Some of them are going to be percentages, and some of them are going to be amounts. This here has 50 gallons in it. So some of your tanks will have it's 50% full, or some of them like this will tell you that there are 50 gallons left. You just kind of have to look at the gauge and determine if it's a percentage or an amount. So I need to let the title company know there's 50 gallons of propane here, and my seller is going to get a credit for, I think it's around $2.43 a gallon right now. So, they'll get a credit for $150 or so, which for that much propane's not a lot, but if it was completely full, that'd be worth a lot of money. So that's what that's all about. We're back inside. I'm gonna sit here by the fire for a minute and enjoy it and wait for the appraiser. All right, so the appraiser was here. She came in, she took her pictures. We are good to go. Now we just have to do the whole thing in reverse and shut the house back down. So we are back in the well house. The first thing we're gonna do is shut that off. And that's going to shut down the well so that the water stops flowing. So the last thing we are gonna do is drain the well from here, but we have to go in, open up all of the faucets fully, and now we have to get all of the water out of the house as much as we can so that nothing freezes up. So the whole thing in reverse. Okay, so everything that was trickling, we are going to turn on full, because we have to drain the lines. So we want all of the water to leave the faucets and go into the drains. See, there's water in the back of the toilet. We can't leave that. A toilet has to be flushed twice when you're closing it down. Once to get the water out of the tank, and then you have to flush it again to get the water out of the bowl. It'll continue to fill and refill until all of the lines are done. And it'll drain from the top to the bottom. Of course, your upper lines are going to drain out first, just because of gravity. And as we sit here and watch, we can probably see how these empty out. And there it goes. All right, and we're gonna wanna leave those valves open, because when you're closing up a home, you want the valves open. You want air in the lines, not water. So then we're gonna come through here and disconnect all of these, disconnect the toilet, and then go downstairs and disconnect everything down there. You always want to disconnect from the top and work your way down. Otherwise, all the water from the second floor is going to drain out onto your lap while you're disconnecting from the bottom. So we'll start here. Okay, now we have to drain the water heater, which requires the pressure release valve to be open. Because if this isn't open, you can't get air into the tank. And if there's no air coming into the tank, there's not going to be any water coming out of the tank. It creates like a vacuum. And so you'll never get your tank completely drained if that pressure release valve isn't on. This house is set up in such a way that they have a drain hose here to the backyard. And we just open that up and let it drain into the backyard, and that takes a few minutes, but no worries. All right. Okay, and we are closed up and done. I've got the well cover back on there. All the house is locked up, all the pipes are drained, and we are good to go. We're closing, and in about a week, the new buyers will be here and I'll show them how to open it up. So y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Again, there are reasons to hire an experienced mountain realtor. It's more than just putting a home on the market. It's about the service you're gonna get on days like this when you'd better have somebody that knows what's going on and how to get things done. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.